So while the slides pop up, you have any questions or anything you want me to discuss before we start with the class? You can just chat on the chat window. You can just type it. So the main reason for getting people like Nivedan is because even though he didn't have any solid background about whatever he spoke about, but he built his own background. He built his own empire, and he has now BMW. Recently, he took Ferrari, and every day you see in the newspaper or in news or in some of the other shows, he's there, and parallelly he's bringing out a lot of innovative products. So it's not that it is very restricted only for Nivedan, but it's open for each one of you. It's just the right motivation and right mentorship, right tapping you have to do. So with this, some of the announcements I want to give before we go to the actual class is that, so assignment 4, we had some of them requested saying, can we extend? Because there's a lot of steps. Now we have covered 5 steps in the previous week. And last week we covered another 5 or 6 steps rather, but I gave you assignments for 5 steps. And what we'll be doing is your class 4 assignment, which was supposed to be submitted today, please submit it by Saturday so that you're free for your internals or CIE, which is scheduled for next week. Do be very attentive on Canvas. I'll be posting and won't be very active on Telegram unless you have some pressing questions which you want to discuss along with your classmates, then that's the time. But in Canvas, do participate in discussion sessions, do participate in all the assignments and things like that. And no class next Wednesday because we have CIE 1. I want all of you to prepare for that CIE rather than attending my class. Next assignment is individual assignment. So there has to be some kind of differentiation between what you are trying to do and what your team is trying to do. So I'll discuss about it, what is that assignment you have to do by end of the class, but you should be in a position to actually submit it. And the deadline I'm giving you is 28th of October, which means that once today's assignment, you get 2 weeks, which is individual assignments. It's 1-page assignment. If you write more than 1 page, you will lose marks. If you write less than 1 page, you'll lose marks. So I'll just tell you right away. So there are 2 assignments in that. First assignment is you should write about one company which you think it's very successful, which world thinks that it is successful, like maybe Nivedan Nimpe's, and it should be related to your domain. So if you're from electrical, write around that. Ether energy, maybe that's just an example, but all of you don't write ether energy. If you're from medical electronics, maybe something about Forus, or there's Inaxel. There are many companies which is of that. If you're from electronics and communication, some company which is of that core. Similarly, instrumentation and telecommunication. So these are some of the companies which you have to think, assignments. So write half a page about it. What you're supposed to write, that will be on live in Canvas after the class. And second assignment, that is half page. Another half page is you will be writing about a company which was a disaster or which was a failure. Why it didn't work, and for example, Taxi for Sure, why it worked. And don't give your software company example, that you'll get abandoned number of numbers. So don't go behind software companies like maybe Uber, Ola, Flipkart, Amazon, and all. All of us know the story about it. Even I'll be sharing as and when we need those examples, but you don't spend time for those kind of companies or those kind of companies which are very software oriented. Additionally, for both the companies that is successful as well as not successful, I want you to do some research about, if you were the CEO, if you were the founder, what additional thing would you have made to make the company better if it is a successful one? If you were Nivedan Nimpe, what is that thing which you would have made that it would have been better? And if you were some other company, you did some research and you realized that it disastrously failed, why do you think it failed is what you should be writing. And what is the thing which you have done totally differently such that it will become success? Understood? These are the 2 kinds of assignments. Yes, so Pranav is asking, is it individual assignment? Yes, definitely it's an individual assignment. And additional thing is, once you do your assignment, you will be able to um, uh, review other assignments. So the whole point of it is peer review will be there, and this carries 10 points or 10 marks for you guys. So once you answer, you'll get 10 points, and you will get you will also have to grade other 3 students among your class. So if you among the entire class of 500 students, so it will be anonymous grading. So you should go, I've given a rubrics for that, I'll show you at the end of the class, and you have to go and do it there. Okay, so this is an individual assignment, not group. So this is where we will get to know who actually did that and who actually didn't work, and your marks will be there. And should the company we choose be within your branch only? Yes, it should be within your core domain. So if you're from electrical, from that, if you're from electronics, don't give me reason saying we have very less companies. There are abundant number of companies. You should have that skills of Googling, and you should have skills of talking to people or reading newspaper. Go to startup story. So your story, you get amazing number of Shraddha Sharma, who is the founder of Your Story. She has interviewed a lot of people, and you go on and you get all the important companies in your own branch. Okay, and end of the class we'll have some breakout session, so that is there. So somebody asking, we don't have CIE 1, right? You have CIE 1 for other courses, not for this course. As it was discussed in the first class, it's already uploaded on Canvas. Whatever assignments you're submitting, that will be for your CIE. Whatever paper you'll submit end of the semester, and you will do a pitch to the real kind of startup mentors or investors or startup experts. That will also carry for your SCE. So SCE has 2 components: paper as well as your pitch, which you'll do in group. That will be your SCE. And CIE will be the whatever assignments you're doing. So both of them, so each class is important, each assignment is important, because finally it can improve your marks or it can break your marks. So be very careful, be attentive in this class. Okay, so if there are no more questions, let's go to the next set of steps. So how many steps we have covered? Any idea, guys? So you can put on your chat window how many steps we have covered till now. 6 steps, only 6 steps? 10, only 10, 11? Okay, 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11. Okay, so I see majority of you are saying 11. So let's take the majority. We have covered 11 steps. In your assignments, we have done 10, but in our class, we have covered 11. So what are those steps? Let's revise. So if you see the chart here, we did market segmentation. You segmented the market into different domain, based on geography or based on gender, based on the market and things like that. In that, you selected one market which is very important, where you can creep in very faster and make your mark present. That is beachhead market. Then we define end user profile. So there is a profile which all of the characteristics of your end user. You answered some questions that made the characteristics of end user. And we calculated beachhead TAM size, which is total addressable market in terms of dollars or in terms of rupees, where you calculated that based on your beachhead market and number of people who will use it, what revenue will make. And from the end user profile, you came up with persona. Persona is a person with some kind of characteristics. It's a real person. It's not someone who is whom you imagine, but it's a real person whom you put as persona. You have written excellent personas for all your each case studies, what you're doing. After that, we saw life cycle use case, which means that how does the person or your persona sees each, when will he come across the product? How will he buy the product? How will he pay for the product? How will he install the product? How will he decimate the work, decimate your product to his friends and family through watering holes or through word of mouth and so on and so forth. Next we saw was high level specification, which means that we wrote very high level specification, not too much of technical, but we wrote about very specific things like the technology behind it, how is the block diagram kind of thing. Then next we did was quantifying value proposition. What do you mean by quantifying value proposition? So you have some value. For example, your product is better than others. So before they were doing this product, they were actually doing this kind of process, but now they are doing this process. Before I used this cream, then at that time it was not effective. It used to die down in 5 hours, but now I use this cream, it is for 10 hours, it is for 12 hours. That kind of quantification is what is required. That's quantifying value proposition. Next we saw is how would you cater to next 10 customers? How will you identify from persona who is just first customer? After that, how will you decimate your work to next 10 customers and have them in board with your product? Next is we define core. Core is nothing but it can be IP, intellectual property, patent, and things like that. Or it can be a very specific business model, or it can be something unique. Your purchaser or your raw materials from where you're getting is very unique people, and so on and so forth. Next we found was, next what we didn't do in assignment, but we actually discussed was charting competitive positioning. So you put two axes, x-axis and y-axis. In x-axis you'll put priority 1 of your persona, in y-axis you put priority 2 of your persona, and see that this is low on the left side and bottom side and high on right side and top side. And then see that always you should keep your product at the top right, which means that you're solving both their important priorities of their of your persona. So we have covered till now. I hope you remember everything and you have got revision now. So we have completed kind of 2 of its major steps. Who is your customer? And we have also completed what can you do for your customer, right? So these 2 things we have covered. There are another 4 steps or 4 batches, 4 modules which you will learn over the class. So let's go to the next module, that is how does your product acquire your how does your customer acquire your product? Very important. So this is known as, the next step is decision making unit. Okay, it's also called as DMU. We'll learn a lot of new terms in this 2-3 slides. Please concentrate on these. That is decision making unit, DMU, which is nothing but it consists of various people. Economic buyer, who is economic buyer we'll learn, champion, influencer, veto power, end user, compliance officer, so on and so forth. So for your product, is there someone who will make the decisions to implement? For example, how does BMSCE work? So we have something known as college council, which consists of all the people in the helm of affairs like HODs, head of all the departments, principal, vice principal, dean's council, everyone together. So if there are some decisions to be made, it's not that unanimously it is done by one single person. So it will be done by a committee. In that committee, there may be little more weightage given to whatever principal says compared to somebody else says. So there is little bit balancing which will happen. Similarly, even in your process, whenever you try to make some decisions, there is a lot of people, even your own decision may not work. There are a lot of people who can influence the decisions. So that's what we are going to learn in this step. So learn who makes the ultimate decision to purchase your product and who will be advocating for purchase. Very important, 2 people. If you take government products, there's a lot of process of what you're supposed to follow in the government process. The process which is followed in government is there is a purchasing officer, there is a people syndicate who will approve it, and things like that. Even in college, like BMSC also, we have like certain limit, HODs can buy it, and another certain limit for few lakhs, principal can do it. And if it is more than that, more than some certain limit, then they have to go to chairman. If even it is little more than what it is, then they have to go to the board of governors. So there is a lot of decision making process which will happen. But there is one person who makes ultimate decision, who can actually purchase a product, and who will be advocating the purchase. For example, if somebody vendor comes to me and says that you need to purchase this, so there is an alumni who's behind us saying buy this product for online teaching and all. I can be influencer, I can advocate for purchasing it, but we cannot try to directly make the decision. Ultimate decision goes to principal, but we can advocate it, right? So meet the influencer who have sway over the purchasing decision. So those people are influencer. For me, who is influencer, maybe one of the class representative will come, and my faculties are influencers. So if I'm head of the department, I have 4 or 5 faculties who can influence the decision. Okay, so example, who can approve, who can block, who can give opinion. All 3 people are important. Approving is definitely, and there are people who can block it or approve it, who have so much of power. That's called as veto power. And there is also opinion which is given. There is also some set of people whose opinion may be considered, may not, but they have right to give the opinion. So this slide, I'll take more time. You will get to know a lot of things in this slide. So first thing is there are primary roles and additional roles in DMU, that is decision making unit. So what are primary roles? Primary roles, it consists of champions who are advocates, end user, primary economic buyer. So what do you mean by champion or advocate? Straw that stirs the drink. You have a drink, and if you want to stir it, you use a spoon or straw. That's what you are. Without that, it doesn't make any sense. Your drink doesn't make any sense, right? So these are the people. For example, I am if some research and development activities of the college have to take care, so I have the champion or advocate. So what I do is I can become the straw that I can stir the drink and say that this is very important. I take the primary role in R&D activities. And next is we have end user. End user is nothing but so it's nothing but the persona. You have done end user profiling, right? In the previous step, you have identified who is the persona. So these are the people who will actually influence your decisions. Okay. And next is primary economic buyer. Primary economic buyer is the one who spends the money. So there is a person who will actually spend the money. It can be, I gave you example, right, between end user and buyer or primary economic buyer. Like for example, if it is hospital, you take the doctor will be the end user, but the hospital management will be the primary economic buyer. If you come to college, who will be the end user? Students, faculties will be end user, but who is buying it is the college management. If you take the example of a kid and parent, who is the end user? Kid is the end user, but who is the economic buyer? It's your parent. Apart from that, there are few additional influences which people can do. Primary and secondary influence. Who is primary influence? If, for example, you go to a doctor and that doctor says, do this, you will do it. If your parent says, you may not do it. It happens even in the college and schools also. If your parents say, you may not do it. But if your parent calls to your faculty or your teacher, and if teacher says to the student, and they will listen. So these people are primary and secondary influencer. De facto veto is there, which means that there are some, for example, if you take Swamiji, if a Swamiji, like for example, if you take this product, Patanjali products, right, Dant Kanti, and there are many such products. So if in that advertisement, if it was anybody other than Ramdev Baba would have come and told, a layman like you and me, people wouldn't have purchased it. At the sales which is going on, you know, they have come with a product known as Karonil also, which means that it also it increases your immunity. That's what they say. But see the name what they have chosen, which means that he has de facto veto power, which means that the Swamijis and people, they can influence your life. They can influence you saying, hey, listen, this is what you do. There are people like who do. And these people are of mass. You can't go and influence only one set of people. You should be influencing mass. So that we call it as de facto veto. There are person with veto power. What is veto power? Veto power is very important. I'll give you an example. I've given this before also. So my friend, one of my friend, Jagdish Chaturvedi, he's a stand-up comedian, theater guy, doctor, and so on and so forth. Writer, author, orator, drama, and so on and so forth. So he actually came up with a product, ENT product. So if at all a baby or some pediatric patient comes to the OPD, that is outpatient department, so his nose or ears is blocked, and maybe a cockroach has gone in, some fly has gone in and died, and there is some groundnut which has gone in, and there was also, if you remember, 25 paisa coin that people used to put it inside. That's why you have little bigger coins now. It doesn't go inside babies or the child's nose or ears. So for that, what was the problem was they were doing a procedure in minor OT, and they were taking out and using all such kind of equipments. He just invented a small thing where it goes inside and it bends like this. So if you see, it just bends like this at the end, only the upper portion, and it pulls it down. So it's kind of very innovative way what he has done. He went to the market. He wanted to sell it to customers. They said, wow, this is really good. But there was veto power. That is for example, if a doctor like Devi Shetty comes and tells, this is really an important product, you have to use it in cardiovascular diseases and so on, all other doctors will follow that because he has veto power. If Dr. Manjunath from Jaydeva, he says that this is very important, you should use this kind of devices and things like that, then people will actually try to, all other doctors will follow. So that people are known as veto power. Okay, they can actually distract or they can influence the product. Coming back to the example which I was trying to give about the one which will remove the foreign body from the nose or ears. So what Dr. Jagdish, he went to one of the ENT surgeon and he said, sir, I've developed this, can you buy this? He said, yeah, amazing, amazing, you keep it and go, I'll see the trial and I'll buy it next month. But after that, he didn't promote the product. There were many reasons. First reason is the procedure which was taking around 1 hour will reduce to 10 minutes. That's first reason. Second reason is even a small, a new doctor who is just a medico, who is finally a medical student or who have just graduated, even he can do procedure with very ease. There is no need of expertise. Third thing is the patient used to pay X amount of money, and because of this simpler procedure, the patient actually is paying maybe 1 by 10x money. So these were complete decisions. So what the doctor, the person whom he went and asked, the veto power guy, he said, this is good, but we won't purchase it because of following reasons. So later he did some kind of tweaking within his product and he launched it somehow and it's going on very well. It's called Nozina. You can Google and check. So this is someone who has veto power. There is another person known as purchasing department. You know, there will be a people, even in our college, we have purchasing departments. So we call it a stores, and there is also some people who can influence some decisions, who can actually help us. There is also department procurement committee. They actually do meeting and they tell that this is good to buy, this is not good to buy, this budget, they'll negotiate with people and things like that. So all these people are important. Don't assume that these people are there, let them, I'll just give them, let them buy or let them go off or something like that. Don't do that. It's not very easy to convince people. So your assignment, which I'll post it a little later, maybe after 28th, is that you should make a decision-making unit chart. I'll give you a template for that, but you should find out who are this each individual persons, who is champion or advocate in your particular product. Who is the end user? Who is the end user and what is their influence they'll do it? Who is primary economic buyer? You have already done few of them. You have to reiterate here in this step. Additionally, who are the influencer? Who have veto power? It can be one people, it can be multiple people, it can be individual, it can be organization, it can be a body. Who has purchase? Do you have purchasing department? How do you actually mitigate them, or how do you convince them to buy it? Okay. So some of the examples are there in the slide. You can just check this when I post a slide on Canvas. So customers and who are the people and things like that. But mainly you should have who are your customers, how will you actually help them out, and how much is the convincing power you can leverage on them and things like that. This is another example. You can just check it out at your convenience. Okay. So before we go to the next step, which is map customer acquisition process, which is also called as decision making process, DMP, which you can also see in the slide, I guess. Yeah, at the bottom behind my picture. So before that, Santosh has some question. High level product specification, for example, it's a mobile application. How to do that? It can be only drawn on paper for now. We can't design how it looks through any application, right? Yeah. So Santosh, go ahead and draw it on paper. Just put that snapshot on your Word document and upload it. That's perfectly okay. We can draw how we imagined it on paper, paste the image in the assignment. Is that okay? Perfectly okay. So high level product specification is for all of you to look at. So whenever you go to your customer, your persona, you should be, all of us should be in the same page. If I'm looking, if I imagine your mobile app, I'll start imagining WhatsApp. I'll start imagining, but you will start imagining Facebook. The other one will imagine Zoom. Another one will imagine maybe Instagram and things like that. So all of us, all your team members plus your customer should be on the same page. That's why you need high level product specification. Okay. So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to post it on the chat window. I'm continuously monitoring and watching that. Okay. So next step, what we'll do is map customer acquisition process. How do you map your customer acquisition process? So see this really nice kind of description. So if you, what you will think is once they see my product, they are going to have it and sales will immediately go to the moon. It will rocket, it will be exponential growth. But actually there's a fairy coming and telling, hey, listen, actually it doesn't work that way. Companies have a process to buy things. It takes a while. It's not that you just go and sell your product and immediately there is someone who will buy it. There is a lot of process for that. I suggest you to learn it and more realistically manage expectation. So you go to your investor and say, I'll sell thousand product by 1 month. Then they'll ask you, what is your customer acquisition process? What is your DMP, decision making process? So as a big picture, map out the process by which a customer decides to purchase your product, estimate the sales cycle for your product, identify any budgetary, regulatory, or compliance hurdles that would slow down your ability to sell your product. Okay, so these are few things which you will be learning in this part whenever you do your assignments. So how do you create a map to acquire a paying customer? So if you see, customer is one, paying customer is very important. Very single one thing very important which we have discussed in maybe first or second class is paying customer. One single important must thing is paying customer. If you don't have paying customer, then you cannot make any money. Okay. So next thing is, and next we have is understand the length of the sales cycle. Okay. There are few, if you come to medical devices, because I work majorly on that. So if you come to the sales process, it's not easy. They say, have you got the regulatory approval? And that itself is couple of years. It's you won't. So whenever you start your company, the amount what you will see as even break even, forget about profit, will take at least 5 years for a medtech company, which many people I know. So that's very important. So think in that direction. Once it is launched, after that also the sales cycle will actually be very important for you to think. Will it happen in 1 month? Will it happen in 2 months? Or it may take 6 months also. Okay, even in BMSC, if you want to procure something, it will take some time because there is a systematic process and we have to be very fair in buying some things and so on and so forth. Next is build the foundation for cost of customer acquisition. So there is something known as COCA, which we'll discuss in further steps, maybe in the next class or next to next class. That is known as COCA, cost of customer acquisition. So anything which you do right now, that is at this point of time when you're, so somebody asked Nivedan about how did he manage paying his employees when he was not making profit. That's very important question. That is called as not loss, but you call it as investment. That cost of customer acquisition in terms of marketing, in terms of so on and so forth, a lot of other things, that's called as cost of customer acquisition. So it's an investment you are doing rather than loss. Identify hidden obstacles that will inhibit your ability to sell products and get paid. So you should have some kind of hidden obstacles. So there may be few of the things which you think that it's very important for you to you may think that it's not that important for you to manage that, but many a times you will end up in such a way that they will be the big roadblock for you. They will actually stop you from buying it, or it's a process that will stop you from you buying it. Okay, so be very careful whenever you're doing that. Be able to show your potential lenders and or investors. So whenever you do this, I told you, right, whenever you go to your investor and you say you will try to sell it in 1 month, they'll ask you what is your decision making process. You should be in a position to tell them. Okay, remember you have done for one of the steps of the last week assignment, full life cycle use case. Okay, so full life cycle use case is something which all the steps which you had made, so people have done graph, people have done written some steps the way you wanted to do. In that, each one of them, just check, do they influence the decision making process? Do they influence decision making process and things like that? You should find, how will you find about product, analyze, acquire, install, pay, and so on and so forth. So again, the same thing is reiterated here. So what are the inputs, what are the outputs, and any parallel things you can do. For example, there may be some times where you can say, while the purchasing is happening, while the purchase invoice is happening, can I do manufacturing, or can I go and influence other people, things like that. Okay. Budgetary authority is also important. So I will say, see, I mean, each department we get budget in BMSC also, but is I'm the right, I can decide on it, but I can't take final decision. I can be influencer. So there will be some other people. So people just say, can I get appointment with principal? I want to convince him and sell this particular product. So you have to, that's why it's very important. You have to go, your whatever steps you have done till now, it's not gone waste. First is you have got marks. Second thing is you have to go back to that particular step and come back again. Okay. So it's very important for you to go back and come back to different steps. Okay. So sales funnel model, there is a particular model which is again connected to your previous few steps: identification, consideration, engagement, purchase intent, purchase, loyalty, advocacy, and so on and so forth. So few of the cautions which I feel you should know before you actually try to come up with your DMP, decision making process, or customer acquisition process. So budgeting or purchasing authority, these people are roadblocks. It can be same, it can be different people. So budget somebody can allot, but final approval somebody else can get. For example, in BMSC, I give my budget, it gets approved, but final purchasing authority is with principal. So time is essence. So for example, if you go today and you convince your customer, if he's saying yes, make sure that you have your product ready and you sell it immediately if it is possible. Try to have some leverage of 1 month, saying, okay, sir, you can give me money after 1 month, but try to purchase a product. If you don't do that within some time, there is another competitor who will come up with the same product, give it for lesser price, and you lose your customer. Okay, so there is again different process in DMP if you are a consumer versus B2B. If you are directly interacting with consumer, then the decision making process is individual. But if you're doing business to business, so business to business, for example, if you are having a business, you're coming and selling to BMSC, it's B2B, it's not B2C. So business to business, so that also you should be very careful. The decision making unit, the purchasing department, the authorities, things will change. Regulations make a market difficult to enter. It can be, I mean, there was one just before this, I was talking to someone about his venture, and they had different regulation. Yeah, drone. So somebody had written a proposal saying, I'll come up with the drone technology to do surveillance of COVID. Do you think that surveillance of COVID in drone at this point of time, first, there is no proper regulatory approvals still adapted in India. So they're just adapted somewhere from US and Europe and things like that, and they're put in place. So you need really important regulatory approvals before you put your drone flying at some periphery. So if you are actually trying to do within campus, nobody will object at some further some specific height. So one more person said, I have come up with a really interesting COVID testing kit. So you have to just blow something and you will be able to get to know if a person has COVID or not, because it's throat infection, so on and so forth. That's really innovative, but you can't directly go and put it on patient's place and say, you blow it. And they have to go through some process. There is a fast track process, especially for COVID-19, to get regulatory approvals. There's a body called a CDSCO, which is a very important body right now, who is playing a lot of roles for approvals of products left, right, and center in this COVID times. So remember, there are some influencers who actually do that. So regulatory also have to be considered. So these are some examples which is there on decision-making process. So lead generation, how many, example for how much time it will take. Lead generation is 1 to 2 months, access to influencers 2 to 4 months, access to design engineers, design phase, construction, installation. So if you take complete all these things, it will be almost like 2 to 3 years. So don't think that your project is, it will take lesser time. But if to retrofit the project, so already existing product, your project is there, but you are trying to fit in that one, so it will take lesser time. But still it takes time. Don't assume that it will happen immediately. Okay. So let's take a break of a couple of minutes and see if any one of you have any questions. You can raise your hand or you can post it on the chat window. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, that's a question out of syllabus, I would say. Sir, are the dates confirmed for our CIE? You should check with your respective HODs or dean, and check with your respective HODs. They would have got the notification. But because it was there in calendar of events, I have left it. I guess it is confirmed. However, I'm not sure. You should check with your HOD or proctor. They should be able to help. Any questions related to the class? OOClap. Okay, OOClap we are not doing today. So that's because I want to give some time for breakout sessions. Because it's been long time you guys are not talking to each other only apart from your team. So I will split you guys into different teams. So don't worry about it, Arun. So today no woo clap. So no clapping today. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, veto power. That's something similar to influential marketing. Yeah, I would say it's exactly like influential marketing. Influential marketing is it's similar, but influential marketing, what you do is, for example, influential marketing example I could give is, say, Amitabh Bachchan. You know Alexa, the new Alexa. Where is my Alexa? So it's right there. So if I say Alexa, do this, then that Alexa will be responding specifically for Indians in Amitabh Bachchan's voice. Okay, so he has veto power, but he's also influential marketing strategy that Amazon is paying huge money to Amitabh Bachchan, and he is talking instead of Alexa talking. So I'll say, hey Amitabh, how are you doing? Hey Bachchan, how are you doing? So that I can customize. So that's what Amazon is trying to bring in Alexa. So that's influential marketing. If Deepika Padukone, not Deepika Padukone right now, but any actor or actress, if they are influencing anything for your purchase, they have, that is called as influential marketing. But those people also, I mean, there you pay and get them. But veto power is also similar, but here there are people who can actually decide the entire process of decision making. So there is subtle difference, but I can tell that it's kind of synonyms. Okay, if there are no more questions, let's take the next step. Okay, so we'll take next step, which is follow on TAM. So do you guys remember TAM? So just post on chat window each of your team how much TAM you got, because there was a lot of, I mean, I didn't really grade your TAM for your money which you made from your beachhead market, but how much TAM did you got? So TAM is for per year I want. So 131,600. Somebody raise hand. Do someone wants to talk? You can raise your hand. I can unmute you. So how much TAM you got? Go Brainer says $131,600. Kritika, you should really think of your TAM. It's too less. See, whenever you're doing your TAM, so plain drone is 33.25 crores. Wow. There's someone who says 4,68,000. Okay. Any other teams? Do you remember your TAM? You can post on the chat window. How much was your TAM? 25 lakhs. Okay. 2 crores. Good. Wow. I'm so impressed. People are talking in crores, dollars, millions of dollars. 36 lakhs. 1 crore. 1 crore. Gold digger. 720 crores. Amazing. I'm so happy you guys are talking in crores. 25 lakhs. Any other answers? Okay, 20 crores. Yeah. So keep on typing. I'll read that out as and when it's required. But TAM is something you should be very careful. If you're getting very less TAM, then it means that you have really very lesser market segment. Beachhead market is not the right market you have chosen. If you have really high, then also you should be very less. I would say per year, first of your, so this time, whatever you're doing, you forget about the expenditure which you are doing. So I would say ideally, if you are around the range of, in Indian market, I'm talking. If you're talking about US market, that's already there in your slides, which they are talking. But that US market is really big and we can't actually do it. I would say somewhere around 5 to 10 crores TAM for your first year is amazing from beachhead market. Okay. But 5 to 10 crores, in that all your expenses will be covered. Finally, you may have zero profit. That's not what we are worried about. Your turnover, in simple terms, which all of us can understand instead of TAM, should be almost like 10 crores or something. But if you have too much, like 720 crores, then gold diggers, you're really digging a lot of things out of the gold, so which is really ambitious. Your ambition is good, but don't be over ambitious and you'll fail. So somewhere around 10 crores, and somebody has said just 10 lakhs, 25 lakhs and all. By the time you pay salaries for few of your employees and you spend on your marketing, done. Entire your money will go off there. So be very careful when you calculate on your time. Okay. So next thing what we have is follow-up time. So follow on time. So whatever time you had decided previously is for beachhead market. The small market segment, you had little more segment where you have to creep in once you put your foot in the beachhead market, right? So that is called as follow on time. So if you see follow on time, so we have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and now we are in 14. So this 14th step is follow on time. So see this illustration, what you can see in the slide here is really good. So that you're doing bowling. So first your time will be maybe $100,000. Okay. So which is good. But next time, if first one, what you do is what you see $100, which is good because it's a first market. After that, you will come up with rest markets where you'll slowly creep in and you'll make more money. Then you'll have entire market acquisition, all segments you will try to reach. Okay. So how will you do calculate that? Follow on times, picking up your head to see how big this can be. Okay. Right now you are in TAM, which is good, but follow on TAM we may not do for as part of this class, but it's good to know. Follow on markets you will expand to after dominating your beachhead market. Okay. If you haven't dominated your beachhead market yet, so take 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. After that, you go to other market segment. For example, Amazon started with books. Books was their beachhead market. And after that, slowly they creeped into electronic items. Now you see they have A to Z, right? So that's how you should do it. Don't directly go jump into A to Z at the first. First try with A, then go to B, C, D, and then complete A to Z. Because why? From the beachhead market, you'll make some money. That money you will put it in your follow-on markets. Okay. So selling same customer additional product, or it can be adjacent market. So it's not necessary should cover all the products. For example, Apple started with iPod or maybe something else, but that was a successful product. After iPod, they said, okay, you buy Apple phone. Then they said, you buy iPad. Then they said, you buy what is this, MacBook. Then they said, you buy iMac. So finally they put all eyes in that and they made your Apple product. So people might like me got influenced and I have everything related to Apple because it's so intuitive, it's so good. So that I ended up taking all Apple products except Apple Watch. I have everything else in my office or either at my home. So that's because that's the same customer additional product because they're so happy. For the same customer to buy additional product, your beachhead market, whatever product you have sold, should be very successful. If you have given something, they feel that it's disaster, then even your actual product will also be, your further products will be disaster. They won't buy it. Okay. That will happen. Even Apple, not everyone buys all the product, only very few people, but that's still okay. Other kinds of follow-up is adjacent market. Now they did completely on electronic. Maybe Apple will come up with something else on computer related, but they'll next come up with mobile is over, computer is over. Next segment is they'll come up with TV, television, Apple TV, and things like that. So different kinds of adjacent market. Okay. So how do you actually calculate this? Estimate the annual revenue from top follow-on market after your beachhead market. Okay. So finally, how much will be your revenue? Shows the potential that can come from winning your beachhead, motivate you to do so quickly and effectively. So once you calculate this, then you will see, okay, beachhead market is maybe face masks by Apple for employees. Yeah, that's a nice example. So maybe I'll think of why can't I do this? I have 5 crores as my beachhead market, where majority of it I'm only having maybe 5 lakhs end of the year, which is nothing. I mean, in spite of taking some all the salaries apart, I am remaining only with 5 lakhs. But let me see how much will happen. So once you see your follow-up time, you will realize that you can say 5 crores. That's like wow, right? So it will help you, or it will motivate you to do things quickly and effectively. The time for initial market and develop on estimate the broader time. So on market not be not as certain and specific as the first market. Okay, in the first beachhead market you were very certain, but don't think that the same certainty will be holding on your follow-up market. So so you have to keep on changing. Again, you will get a one more live document where you will keep on changing your time. So based on your see beachhead market, you have on the bottom, and then you had someone on the top, adjacent market 1, adjacent market 2, and things like that. You should keep on building it, and you will have finally a bigger market. So moving beyond your beachhead segment is another important one. So how actually you will take the question to answer. Are the customer well funded and readily accessible to our Salesforce? Okay. If it is the same product, then same customer, different product, then it's easier. You already have things in play. But it may not be true in many of the cases. So what you'll do is you'll go to the adjacent market by using some kind of Salesforce. So do they have a compelling reason to buy? Okay, that's also one more thing. So what is the compelling reason? So remember, I saw some of the posters. I wanted to use it in this class, but I'll bring it to the next class. You don't have happy customer in the life. Okay, if you are in startup, one thing you remember, this is like general formula. Not everyone will say there's no happy. There is little, little lesser happy customers, but there's no ultimately none of the customers are happy. Even though I have, say, for example, some kind of maybe one mouse which is there. Now this mouse I'm happy. Oh, this looks wise. First day I'm happy. Second day, third day I'll think this should have another kind of interface. Why is it so big? Why is it so small? And things like that. So there is no happy customer. You don't try to tell that your customer's happy. 90% of the time, 99% of the time they're unhappy. So you should keep on inventing. So that's why to serve those unhappy customer, iPhone 12 has been released. I mean, it is released, or it will be released very soon here in India also. So 11 just came not even 1 year ago, but now they have 12. So there are no happy customers. iPhone, it started with maybe the first version was 4 or something. Now it is like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is also in the market, 13. 4G, 5G, 6G, people, we were so crazy about 3G, that internet is fast. Then 4G came. I'm talking about your generation. 4G also came. 4G, we are happy. Now 4G also, because there are a lot of users, you're still not happy. Then you went to 5G. Now people are talking about 5G. When 5G will come to India? 2021 is what we are expecting. And it's just a month back or something, I received a seminar or webinar on 6G. So don't think that people just sleep. They want upgradation because their customers are unhappy. If your customers are happy, then you won't do any innovation. Whatever you're giving is good enough for them. So have your most importantly, is there a compelling reason for them to buy? So I have now X device, or I have some X technology. Is there compelling reason for me to change? For example, I'll give you a very nice example. uh, if you go to, oh, 6G is already out in Japan. Oh, I didn't know that. So if you go to the next, yeah, WhatsApp and Telegram you have, right? So if you want to increase the number of Telegram users, one thing is, if now we have slowly people are shifting to Telegram because you can do a lot of other things in Telegram and like WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is also doing a lot of back end work and it is for free. As soon as if I say next year onwards, I'll charge you 1 rupee per day for using WhatsApp. So Mark Zuckerberg says that, hey, listen, I'll be charging 1 rupee per day. So 365 rupees per year. 1 rupee per day. How much percentage of people do you think who are using WhatsApp will pay 1 rupee per day and still continue using WhatsApp, and they'll not search for other avenues like Telegram or something else? How many people? Just put it on chat window. Is it 5% of people or everyone will pay and get it? 50% of people will pay and get it. 10% people, 50% of people will pay and get it. 80% everyone. Okay, fine. Very less will pay. Okay, sure. So I'm getting this response. I mean, different response. But if you see, we are so used to free things. Okay, you are getting things for free. Then all of a sudden, if somebody is charging it, I am not really, even 365 rupees, it's too less money, but still I'll think and I may not renew. I'll slowly shift to Telegram. So what I'll do is I'll not start using. So like this, if you actually see the number of customers, what WhatsApp, you remember this was like 3 or 4 years back, there was one notification which came from WhatsApp that no, we'll start charging you within so and so date. If you pay, you will be able to use WhatsApp. If not, you won't be able to do. During that time, many of them still didn't pay. They said, okay, deadline is 30th of March or something, I won't pay. But before March 30th, maybe March 28th or something, another notification came. Don't worry, we are not charging you. We have extended free for you for another 1 year. After that, nobody cared and we are not still paying anything for your WhatsApp. So nobody will pay. Trust me, nobody will pay. Or people, few of the people who are saying yes here may pay, which is say out of 500, if I make a poll, genuinely, if I see there may be approximately around 450 people will not pay, 50 people are ready to pay, including me. I won't pay because I'll go to Telegram because it's free. Why should I waste 365, which is even smaller amount? Okay, that's the mentality, especially Indian mentality. This is one. So take it from me if you are targeting Indian market. Can we do today with the help of partners deliver a whole product? Yes. So that's something you have to think. You have got customers for your non-beachhead market, beyond beachhead market. You are in a position to pay and get it, or you are in a position to manufacture or going for large scale. Even software product also, if they want to go for large scale, sometime back WhatsApp crashed, sometime back Facebook crashed, sometime back Amazon crashed. It's happening. One or the other app is crashing, and at that particular, even today before the class, Canvas crashed. I was not able to log in. And I was really perplexed, saying, oh, it didn't happen. So how should I do it? All my assignments, my students have all those things. Just during the class, when Nivedan was talking, I just checked and it was working fine. So don't think that it will work, because the number of people increase, then even your infrastructure, your capacity, your people should also increase. Do you have that appetite to go tomorrow or today itself? Is there entrenched competition that could block us? So for example, if you take Uber is like global player, but individually, if you come to India, they have Ola. If you go to maybe Malaysia and another places like this other Asian countries, they have something known as something else similar to Uber. And if you go to US, they have Lyft. So all these are competitors. But if you go, say Lyft wants to, or Ola wants to go to Singapore, there is already Uber. So again, they have competition there. So there is someone who will block you. If we win this segment, we can leverage it to enter additional segment. So that's also you should say. So first beachhead market is over. You are going to second, then third. Remember that bowling figure which I showed? That's what we are talking about. Can we show the result in acceptable time frame? That's also another thing you will check. So this is the smart skincare which I had showed you in the in another step, which was quantifying value proposition and quantify value proposition. So sunscreen for extreme athletic. So that is the first beachhead market they used. Then they divided into sunscreen for daily use. Then after that, parallelly they did for skin rashes and heat burns. And then they did for anti-wrinkle. Then they did for long-lasting cosmetic. And then they did for hair loss. Okay. So these are the things which they did in the entire beachhead market was sunscreen for athletics, but later they divided into multiple market segments. Okay. So these are the same steps which you had seen in full life cycle use case. Check this, and before you do that, you see that. So this is one of the interesting topics. I'll give you wonderful examples which you'll appreciate when we do this particular chapter for another 10 minutes or something. Particular step. So window of opportunity and triggers. Very favorite chapter, favorite step of mine in discipline entrepreneurship. Any questions before we go to the next step? Just to check if all of you are listening. So can you tell me how many steps we have completed till now? Fourteen. Okay, good that all of you are listening. So let me see in the last. Yeah, 14. Amazing. Okay. So all of you are listening. Thanks for that. And next we'll go to the next step, which is windows of opportunity, trigger, and unit economics. This is 2-3 steps I've put in one slide, but we'll go to individual steps. So one thing as an entrepreneur, you should understand a lot of other things about your persona, what you did before and what you're doing right now. That also you should understand. See, demographic and psychographic traits, if you see, versus number of people on your y-axis. If you see here on the graph, if you have a normal distribution, that is something where you have to target. Normal distribution is best is someone where is the maximum people, what you can see in the center. But don't go to the outliers. Whenever you're doing your beachhead market or even your regular markets, don't go to the outliers. Because your quantum, you can scale it up only if you have more number of customers. If you come up with a device and requirement is only for 1,000 people all over, then that's something disaster which you're doing. Or you should be targeting super rich people like Trump or someone Ambani and things like that. So, but you should be having access to them before you put your product there. So most average persona is the best one who is having maximum number of people in that target market. So you have, this is one of the things, I will skip this, but yeah, this is one of my favorite slide. So Newton's first law of motion, you remember, right? Can anyone tell me what is Newton's first law of motion? An object at rest will remain at rest unless acted by an unbalanced force. An object in motion will continue with constant speed and direction unless acted by an unbalanced force, right? Something like that. But you see this nice depicted picture, an object at rest will remain at rest. That is the first picture. Yeah, law of inertia, unless acted by an unbalanced force. What is unbalanced force? Which is this rat. An object in motion will continue with constant speed and direction unless acted by unbalanced force. So it will be running. If there is another unbalanced force, that is the time when it will stop running. Okay. Why am I referring this particular slide or this particular law of Newton? I mean, Newton's law of motion. Why do you think? By the way, I have one student in higher semester, final year, or he has graduated recently. His name is Newton, which is really interesting. We were very surprised. So why do you think we are referring this slide or this Newton's law of motion in entrepreneurship class? Any thoughts on that? You can put on the chat window. Why do you think we are referring Newton's first law of motion? Just bring all your concepts, what you have learned in this class, in the chat window. Are you listening? You guys are there? Okay, I got a couple of response which they say that a customer and business. Okay, Ola and Uber. A business at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon. You'll keep doing the same thing unless until some idea strikes you. Bring in the idea into motion. Yeah. So I'll tell you exactly, be aware of unbalanced. Okay, all of you are right. But I'll tell you, you will be in your comfort zone. That is, your persona will be in the comfort zone unless there is something which will happen. For example, all of us were very comfortable doing our regular teaching, you guys sitting in the regular classroom and listening to a class, writing on board. But there was one unbalanced force, like the rat, like the cat in the picture, which is COVID-19 now. Because of COVID-19, we shifted to online teaching. And I am really loving online teaching because I can see I have a lot of additional tools which I can use for online teaching. And there's a lot of things which came. Even, there was one more unbalanced force which came for Nivedan Nimpe. What did he say? He said, because China, there's all the imports have been stopped, all the products of China are stopped. So that became a trigger for me so that I did so and so, he said, right? So that's what is we are trying to discuss here. I'll give you some of the examples. How do you change your habits? That's called as window of opportunity. So what is window of opportunities? Yeah, maybe for example, your first job, first house, first move, or getting married, first time, having a child, especially first child, and all these things are very special moment. That's why you have firstcry.com. I'm not sure if you have heard of that website. What do? They give it only for babies, at some certain age. But this is nothing but all the first things which is called as window of opportunity. There is some opportunity which will happen. I'll give you a lot of examples to make you understand these two concepts, and it's very important concept for you to understand. But you need a trigger to do that, well designed trigger. Now, what is window of opportunity and what is trigger? A time when your target end user, economic buyer, champion, or influencer will be particularly open to consider your offering. That is window of opportunity. For example, at this point of time, whenever COVID-19 hit and whenever online education started, then at that time, Zoom, WebEx, Zoom, if I had purchased the same Zoom, what I'm using now, maybe before COVID-19, I would have spent annually maybe 5,000. Now I have to spend 50,000 for the same thing. Yeah, that's called window of opportunity. And you also WebEx, everything is in lakhs together. Now nothing is in thousands. Okay, so at this point of time, that's called window of opportunity. Very specific window of opportunity. What is trigger? Within the window of opportunity, specific action you take to create an urgency, strong incentive for target customer to act. So that is window of opportunity. Why the window of opportunity came? Because of COVID-19. COVID-19 is trigger and window of opportunities during this time. Tomorrow, next year, when the classes becomes normal, we'll have chalk and talk. At that time, we may not have this kind of window of opportunity. Okay. Holiday season. You know what travel agencies do? What was a trigger for the holiday season? They gave continuous weekends. If you remember the calendars of previous, which we used to get from Thomas Cook and so on and so forth, they give you continuous weekend, 5 days weekend, spend your 5 days, 3 days in Paris. They give you one notification. So that's nothing but your window of opportunity. What is a trigger you can give is, if you book your this thing, we'll give you a discount. That's the trigger. End of physical year of beginning or beginning budgeting cycle. So that can be a window of opportunity. Life transitions from being single to married, and maybe from just a couple to one more guest that entering, that is parent and things like that. That's our life transitioning from your +2 to engineering to becoming professional. Those are nothing but window of opportunity. Change in leadership will happen. If leadership changes, then that's also one window of opportunity. New leader, new thoughts. Some Trump to somebody else, or Trump will continue, we don't know. So that is again window of opportunity. Crisis, for example, there was a crisis If you remember the crisis which happened a couple of years ago in Chennai, I mean, right now we are in crisis of COVID-19. All this is a window of opportunity. But the Chennai, Ola, if you remember, what did Ola do in Chennai to mitigate that huge floods which happened? They came up with Ola boat, remember? That's nothing but the trigger was rain, and opportunity was during that time, and then they did it. So triggers are discount, limited supply, time bound, community, avoid disasters. So if I search in Google Bangalore to San Francisco flight, what will happen is next time when I log in Facebook, I'll get a trigger saying cheapest flight with discount, book with us, and things like that. Okay. So more specific examples I'll tell you. If you go to Expedia, you're looking at a flight. Okay, what it will say is 2 seats remaining at this price. Okay, what you do is you go to incognito and search again. It will give you 3 seats remaining. You go to your friend's place, call your friend and tell them. It will say that 3 seats remaining. Even after 2 seats you book, again it will tell. So that are triggers. IBM, end of physical year at utility. So I need to schedule my people for December. So many a times, even many of the companies, even in my other university, Maastricht University, where I'm guest faculty, they give us leave. They say that you have to exhaust your leave within December. So December, there is a lot of people who will put their leave. Students, beginning of the school year, what they say is school related sales, like bags will be in discount, books will be in discount, so on and so forth. So window of opportunity, school beginning, trigger is discounts. Enterprise software competitors is acquired by Oracle, time-bound trade-in, and HubSpot visiting website, free website grader you will get if you use HubSpot. Security company, free auditor for customer status. Politicians like bad Obama sound. I mean, you would have heard that, right? So long time when Obama was contesting. So immediate letter of faithful soliciting donations he did at that time. So these are some of the things. You remember demonetization, which happened. You remember COVID-19, which right now we are facing. Demonetization was a big trigger. Can you name few of the things what happened in demonetization? What triggered? Which was the one of the company which made a lot of money after demonetization? Many of them lost also. Paytm, okay. There are many other things which happened. Geo, Google Pay, okay, Google Pay is very new. Paytm was there. So like that, there was a lot of trigger which happened during demonetization. What happened? Digitalization happened. So trigger was demonetization, then digitalization happened. A lot of things changed during demonetization. Okay, what we'll do is we will stop here and I'll show you, this was about trigger and other things. So I will just stop sharing screen and I'll go to Canvas. My Canvas is opened. Share screen and then, okay, I guess you can see the canvas now, and I'll just open it up for you guys. One sec. Do you have any questions before I tell anything about Canvas? No questions. So just a second. I was searching for something, especially with respect to trigger and okay. Yeah, coming back to your example of trigger. So if you see what happened during demonetization, there was, temples got a lot of money, if you remember. Swamiji's got a lot of money. Hospitals got a lot of money because hospitals, it was allowed them to pay in the old currency because it was important. Insurance people got money. The electricity board people, house tax, I remember one of my friend who paid electricity bill for 3 years. So he paid like 1 lakh rupees to electricity department. I mean, per month, they used to have maximum of maybe 1,000, 2,000 rupees. And also there was trigger for negative things, like a lot of bank employees jumped into corruption and they started doing it. So there is both trigger for because of demonetization, positive and negative. Even in yours, try to make sure it is positive. So let's go to your yeah, I'll come back to Jagdish, but yeah. So if you see this, I'll go to assignments, not assignments. Let me go to modules. So this is the individual case write-up which I have to come. So format is use Calibri font, 11 font size, single spacing, 1 page. Okay, so each student will be responsible to try fakers. I mean, to each student will be responsible for 2 case write-ups that focuses on a particular venture startup in real world design choices facing real world entrepreneurs, specifically from your own branch of engineering. Okay, one startup that has success, for example Uber, Ola, in terms of computer science, but none of us are here computer science. So with respect to your own domain, name of the startup with founder's name. And brief founders, it can be 1, 2, 3 or something. So just check that. Brief description of innovation. What is that innovation they have done which changed the world? So here you can write your, what is the trigger, what is the unmet need they solved. Okay, and then the journey of the startup, how it started, how did they achieve success? Okay, what went right and why? What is the core of the company? Okay, how would you do things differently to achieve more success? These are the things you should cover only in half a page. Okay, here you will have a lot of things to put. First, you will have difficulty in finding company. Please do a lot of googling, talk to people, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to others. And this is a assignment for individual, so don't try to copy paste from others. There is inbuilt software which will tell if you have, if already somebody has submitted. So first person who submits, so if you submit the same thing on that, even with minor changes, 60–70%, it will notify the evaluator saying you have copied from so and so. So I can go and delete both of yours. So please don't do copy pasting from one friend to other. The journey of startup, okay, that you have done. So this is half page. Then another half page is name the startup with founder's name, brief description of the innovation, the journey startup, how did they fail? If it was you, how could you have achieved success? Practical recommendation for success. So how differently you would have done so that the company will be successful. Okay. So the objective of the above casework is used for learning to apply. After submission, evaluate at least 3 other assignments of your classmates. Okay, so you have to do this also. And 10 points for this, very important points, and you can only do kind of upload in this. And peer review is possible, you have done, and you have to complete peer review before November 4th. And this assignment deadline is October 28, 5:59. So this will be there on your canvas. Please check that and accordingly do it. Peer review is very easy. So you have to go here. You will get at least 3 of them like this. You will also be able to see something similar. You have to just go and click on peer review. You should be able to do it. Okay. 3 of them you do it. Why 3 of them is because, or at least I'll make it 2. Okay, wait. So I'll make it 2 peer review. Why is that? Because apart from the company, what you have done it, you can also learn about 2 more companies. So totally you will be having knowledge about 6 companies, which is wow, right? So you will have knowledge without actually doing much of work. So this peer review, you have to do it. So I can assign peer review only when few of them have actually turned on their assignment. So try to submit this before 28th. 28th is the last date. After that, I'll assign peer review for you guys. Okay. So with this, I guess we are done with today's class. But if you have any, but stay back, I'll assign breakout sessions so that you can go and interact with your friends from other colleges and all. If you have any questions, you know the protocol. You can raise your hand or put it on the chat box. So you can raise your hand or put it on the chat box. Okay, so what is the question somebody asking? What if two or more students take at the same company while they're doing their research? Yeah, I mean, that may happen that you take the same company, but the write-up what you have written may not be the same, shouldn't be the same, right? You would have written from your mind and they would have written from their mind. Don't copy paste because the questions and because the limitation of size is there. Yeah, one more thing I wanted to show you is the rubrics. Okay, very important. Yeah, this is the rubrics, how you'll be grading. I'll show you the sample of rubrics, how it comes is. As soon as you go and do peer evaluation, you will get this rubrics. You have to click on save for this. If you click on this, they'll get 2 points. If they have exactly submitted in one page, not less, not more, you give them 2 points. If they have submitted less or more, give them 1.2. If they have submitted more than one page, very high, like 1.5 or 2 pages, then give them 0.8. If there is no submission, give 0 for all of them. Successful startup. So if you have, they've written, covered all the aspects, what is listed here, give them 3.5. If they have covered partial, give them 2.1, covered only few and no submission. Failure startup, similar, and on-time submission again. If you have submitted within 28th October, 5:59, then give them 1. If they've submitted on the same day by the end of the night, 11:59, give them 0.6. If they're submitted on next day, then give them 0.4. If they're submitted after 29, give them 0. So they won't get this point, but rest of the points they may get. So it's very easy to do grading in this. So in Canvas, you have to just click on this. I'll show it's really funny to do. Maybe I'll take this. I'll go to peer grader. You can see this on my screen, right? So it will automatically divide the screen into 2 of them. One of them is on the left side, which is the actual submission. I'm sorry, I'm showing one of the groups, which is here. This one, 2K prodigies is coming. So these people have already submitted. So theirs, it is coming here, right? So what I'll do is I'll click on view rubrics. I'll click on these things. Okay, I didn't like this high level product specification. I changed it. I didn't like this. I did this. And next 10 customers, they haven't, it's very submission error, I will feel. And core, they have really done well. So you can see this on the left side, and on the right side, you can see, and then click on save. 2K prodigies, don't worry if you are here, I will change the marks later. So you have to just click on save. Automatically the marks will come here. It will do the totaling for you out of 10, and it will show that it is 6 marks. Okay. So that's how you have to do. See what they have written, and you have only one page, no need of scrolling. Everything on the one page on the left, and right side, you have to click on view rubrics. You'll get this. Click on these particular parts, and then click on save, and then do that. It's very easy. Okay. So this is how you'll do your peer review. Okay, so you have any questions? I'll take some 3-4 questions, and then I'll put you in breakout rooms. You can go and have fun. So